Welcome back to another episode of Tractor Roy. My name is Trent. Today we're working on this little 2011 Polaris 120 snowmobile. In the last episode, this thing came with a 212 that the guy before me had put in. It's for my 4-year-old, so that 212 is a little big. Even with me on here, I could pop the skis up like nothing. And it was just a little too fast, a little too scary for him. So we put that 120, the factory one, back into it. I put the factory clutch and sprocket into this thing, but there's still some issues. The guy, I think he ran into some issues maybe with not attaching this thing, like it loosened up, and it just ground weird on the clutch. So I was trying to use some of the aftermarket stuff and some of the stock stuff, and it just didn't mix well together. So today I'm going to be putting just the complete aftermarket clutch and drive sprocket in there, including the chain. So we're going to be working just in this area, and it's actually relatively easy. It's only a few bolts. I'll bring you in. So just as an overview before you get into it, we're going to go through what needs to happen. This cover has to go or come off. This is where the driven sprocket is that attaches to the track. You'll have to drill out that rivet, and there's one more rivet. Right there. And then you have to drill out that one right there, that one behind the muffler, and then this plate will come out. We'll have to remove the muffler, which is just one stabilizer mount right there. 2 nuts right here attaching to 2 studs on the head. And then this brake band. To get this brake band off, we'll just have to take this cable. It'll unhook. I'll get more in depth on this stuff, but we'll unhook that cable. We'll take out that nut right there, and this brake band will come off. With the brake band, the muffler, and those 2 guards out of the way, then we're nice and exposed for our clutch. This is the clutch. We'll have to remove this bolt. This one will easily come off because I've had it on and off a couple of times. This is the clutch right here that is attached to the engine. Then your outer ring right here, that's what the sprocket is attached to that runs that chain. That chain goes back to that driven sprocket that goes to the track. So all in all, we're just going to be replacing the driven sprocket right here, the clutch with the sprocket attached to it, and this chain. Your kit for the clutch may come with more or less pieces in this. I don't really know because everything has already been used when I got it. This is the aftermarket one. As you can see, we got a cage bearing in here. This has it's a bigger drive sprocket, which will make it go faster hypothetically, and then this is a smaller driven sprocket. So it should be that this has more higher end and less low end torque. With that 212 in there, the torque from that made up for this being so much bigger. With that 120, if we run into issues, I'm going to have to order the right clutch. Anyways, this is the one that goes on the track. Had to get a new chain with it because this is just a smaller, this is for like a number 30 chain or 35, and that factory one's for number 40. This is the idler sprocket. That's just what keeps tension on the chain so it doesn't sit there and flap around. And this actually sits just like that on the engine and on the track. And this idler will go right there. And this goes over the top of that output shaft. So it'll be like that. Now this is the one that's bad. As you can see, there's some pretty good grooves worn in there. And because of that, it won't slide through our the outer clutch ring. So I have the aftermarket, and actually this one might be the aftermarket. So I probably have the factory clutches, or like the clutch pack in there. No, I have the aftermarket clutch pack, but the factory everything else. And that's part of my issue is there's too much slot between these 2 pieces in there. So I'm going to put the clutch pack that's in it, plus all this stuff, and hope that that solves my issue. So what I'm running into, and that's probably not why you're doing this. You're probably just doing this to fine-tune your performance either for more higher end or more bottom end. My situation, because I have a mix of factory and aftermarket, the clutch there's like the clearances aren't right. It's too loose there. So after riding for a little bit, that thing like either spins this way a little bit or shifts somehow, but it'll bind up. So it'll lock up the track, the engine, and the clutch, and then you'll be going along and just and it seems like the engine seized, but then you like pop the pull cord a little bit, and then that clutch will free up, and then the engine starts up again just fine. So the first thing we're going to do is get this muffler out of the way. Like I said before, there's a little stabilizer mount right here, and then these two nuts. Oops. Okay, now with those removed, we can get the muffler out of here. Okay, our next step is going to be getting this clutch cable, or the brake cable, out of the way. And then we'll just pull that pin out. Once we pull that pin out, you just pull this cable against the spring, and that cable will come right with it. So we'll just stick this pin back in, had a washer on that back side, and we'll stick this cotter pin in there, just so we don't lose any of these pieces. We can set that off to the side. And now to remove this brake band, take our 13 millimeter and pull this nut off. Just like that. You can see this idler pulley right here. And we'll just make sure that we loosen that up while we're in here. Actually, we'll take it off because we'll put on that new sprocket. We'll remove that nut. I think there's a washer under here too. Yep, there's a washer. And this pulley. And then how this works, it's just carriage bolt with a slot in the back. So it will capture this square end of this head. So it'll go in there like that, slides up and down. That captures it. When you go to tighten it down, it won't twist it. And like I said earlier, there's 5 rivets I got to drill out, here, 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 and 2 over here. It might be different for you because I've already been into this thing once. The guy had drilled some out. I had to drill some out the other night when I was working on this thing. As you can see, hole got cut for the exhaust for the 212. It's a little bigger than factory. I've gone ahead and drilled out the rest of those rivets, so 2 tabs hold it into the bottom, it hinges up, there's a rivet there, there, and there. As you can see, they've been drilled out a couple of times. I personally have done it twice now, plus the one time the guy had done this before. Once that's out of the way, this one kind of slides to the back. It's got some tabs that lock into the footrest on the bottom here. It's got rivets there, there, there. And this one, I did not do this last time, but you will have one there that you will have to drill out too. That's actually a pretty good view of everything now. So this is the sprocket we're replacing. There's a roll pin right there attached to the shaft of the track. And then there's this bolt right here that we're going to have to take off that holds the clutch on. Okay, we're going to take the clutch off now. It was that easy this last time also. I have no idea how it would be on one that's been ran for a while. So now I'll just take this off. There's my aftermarket clutch. Actually, this one, I don't know if this one's aftermarket or factory. This is the clutch I'm using. How about that? And we might run into an issue here. Oh, I gotta find where that master link was. So the master link for this is right here. I forgot I can't get it off without doing this. So there's the keeper for it. Outer plate should come off now. Boy, maybe. There we go. There's the outer plate. Here's the rest of your splice link. Take it all the way off. And there's the rest of it. Now we can take off the chain. So this is my factory drive sprocket. It's a little loose too. Just however this thing was set up, something's up because, you know, like I said, this isn't set up as factory like I was hoping it would. So, oh well. So now that's all we have to do on this side. Now we have to pull out that roll pin, take that driven sprocket off, and then we can put on the new stuff. Okay, I've got this little guy jacked up in the air so I can turn it easier. Okay, I'm going to orient it this way. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm going to orient it so I can drive this roll pin out a little easier. I'll probably have to start it and go get a different punch. Okay, that's out. Now this sprocket will come off. And I did run into some issues when I was trying to put this on of this foot pedal kind of being in the way. Or this foot rest. There. So there was 2 rivets that are drilled out on this that I haven't put back in. Wow, got a lot going on here. There's 2 rivets there and there. You might have to drill those things out too to get this old sprocket out. This new one's set up a little bit differently. We can remove it from the drive hub. So I'm going to take out these 4 bolts to make it easier. And then this is a bolt stuck in there instead of that roll pin. Okay, so I've taken off the sprocket, installed this hub. Now I'm going to tighten up this bolt. Ah, there we go. Okay, now that's tight. Let's take our sprocket on there. There we go. Start sticking our little bolts in. And the other 3 of them. And we'll go ahead and tighten them up and then bring you back for the engine side of things. Okay, now here on the engine side, I got 2 spacers. This is just for getting that this thing all lined up. I've got a spacer, or a bushing. And then I've got a roller bearing goes on there. Okay, now I've got my new sprocket and I don't know whatever this is, outer clutch shell, something like that. That goes over top of that roller bearing. Like, oh, actually, this chain doesn't have a master link in it. Just kidding, it does. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, I'm going to try and put this thing on now, though. Okay, so I've got that chain looped around. Now, I'm going to try and stick this on there and attach this chain. Oh, that wasn't bad. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Not have to deal with that master link removal. So anyways, got that outer shell on there with the chain. This thing has been beat up, but it's written in here sprocket side. So that's going to go in first. Maybe. I could be wrong, but this is just how it came apart the last time I did this, or when I was taking this off from the guy I got it from. Next is this another washer spacer deal. It's got a slot for the keyway and the shaft. Make sure you get that lined up, otherwise you're going to be fighting it. Here's the clutch. This is the out. This is the in. As you can see, this also has a keyway in there. This is just so that shaft, it's relying on that key. It's not relying on any pressure from the end of it. Okay, that's all good. Now I'm going to take my bolt and washer, Stick it on here. Tighten her down. I'm going to make sure this thing's free spins, and it does. We got a little bit of play, but not as bad as what the old one was. Our last step is putting in this idler sprocket that also deals with tension. So it's got this bushing here, right here. That pops in. Just had it out, and I'm going to pop it back in. There. Like I said before, this head will go through that slot. Then from this side, this goes on. Over top of that, we have a washer, and then we have a nut. We won't tighten that nut until we get that chain tension set how we wanted. Now this is kind of fun. It might block the view of the camera here, but you got to reach down in here like that. Okay, it's on there. It goes underneath it just like that. So on this thing, this engine spins counterclockwise when you're facing the end of the PTO here, or the output here. So that means this top chain is where all the work is going to be done. This bottom is slack. That's why you put that idler in the bottom where there's slack. You wouldn't want to put the idler up here, because then as this thing, because there's going to be constant torque on there, because this engine is pulling the sprocket from this side of the chain. So there'd be constant tension on that thing trying to move that pulley up or down, and that wouldn't be good. It wouldn't last very long. So now I gotta hold the back of this thing while I start it. There we go. Okay, and this we just want to take up slack, about like that. We don't need to be, oh my God, it's nowhere near tight enough. Okay, well, I got to take one drive link out, which isn't a big deal because I do have a chain splitter. So I'm going to take out this master link. Baby. Okay, I ran and grabbed my chain breaker, so I'm going to pull a couple of links out of this. That way, oh, I'm at the right length. And go ahead and throw that on. That is all you need to do. All that will be left is to put these two covers back on, rivet them in place, and this thing will be ready to go. And that's where I'll end this video. It's pretty self-explanatory from here. Just put that stuff back on, re-rivet those couple of panels. Oh, exhaust too, but anyways, just those couple of things, and that'll be it. So thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button, throw a comment down below. If you're not subscribed, make sure to do that now. Turn on notifications. That way you can tell all these projects. You get notified whenever these new projects come around. I think this thing is pretty well set. I think my son's going to enjoy it. He's going to have a blast riding this thing with that smaller engine. And now that we got that clutch figured out, hopefully we don't have any more issues like we were before. Also, let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. You want to see more small engines and stuff like that instead of just tractors all the time. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching another episode of Tractor Roy. Hope I'll catch you on the next one.